Surface rust, scabs of rust, with some of the rust, big scabs. Board life. Rust, rust and more rust. We'll have a sneak peek at what Rob's up to, and he is cracking on with my dad's Mark III. Don't try this at home. Too runny this gear, man. Just wish it was thicker. She is looking in her right state.
Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes, and today you join me from the cockpit of Maude, my Mk2 Escort, on this beautiful sunny day here in England. As I mentioned in my last video, I've got a whole week off work this week, and it's quite a busy time in terms of the 3 old banger Ford Escorts that are in my life. This morning I got the brake light switch through the post for Esther, my ST170 powered Mark I Escort, from my friends at Burton Power. In fact, I ordered 2 of them just so I've got a spare, and that now means that I can realistically get her ready for her MOT in the next couple of days. My dad's Mark III Escort is now in the very capable hands of my good friend Rob, who's going to be taking care of the paintwork that she needs before I can put her on the road. And today I'm going to be redoing a job on this car that I did a couple of videos ago, and I'm going to be making a start on a huge job that I'm going to be doing on this car over the next week or 2. So yeah, plenty going on the channel. So yeah, stay tuned and click subscribe if you haven't already done so. So I'm going to make my way to the garage now. I've got a few stops to make on the way, but I'll pick this video back up when I get there.
Alright, we've made it to the garage after a few stop-offs, including putting Maude through the car wash and stopping off for an obligatory McDonald's. Now, the major job that I'm going to be taking care of on Maude over the next week or so is giving her a full repaint. So I'm going to give myself a head start today by focusing on some of this surface rust that's all around the car. Some quite big scabs on the roof. Now, my good friend Rob has very kindly said I can plug my extension lead into his house. And basically, I'm going to attack all the scabs of rust with my DA sander. Some of the rust, like round here, I'm not going to be able to get to until I remove the door handles and remove the windows and that stuff. But, you know, I'm going to focus on the bits that I can get to at the moment. There are also some bits like this bit where I'm going to need to get at it with a wire brush and a drill. But I don't actually have any drill batteries with me today, so I'm going to leave bits like that for another day as well. The plan is to hit those scabs of rust, as I say, with my DA sander, get them back to bare metal, and then I'm going to hit all the patches of bare metal with some rust converter, and then a few hours later I'm going to basically cover those areas with this red oxide. I've had quite good results with that red oxide in terms of holding back rust, you know, once I've grinded patches and stuff. But yeah, when I actually do get round to repainting the car, the whole thing will get keyed up and degreased thoroughly, and then I'll be rolling on a couple of coats of primer and then rolling on a couple of coats of the body colour. I'm not going to reveal the body colour yet, but it is going to be another matte colour, and it's a colour that's going to look a bit better on the videos than this matte black, which basically turns into matte grey after a couple of months. Alright, so slight change of plan. Decided to do this job outside Rob's workshop just to make it easier to run the power lead. And while we're here, we'll have a sneak peek at what Rob's up to. And he is cracking on with my dad's Mark III. You can see he's already started improving my ropey filler job on this rear arch. I like to think that I at least made a head start on it.
You don't.
You didn't have to dig everything out then?
No,
no.
no.
And yeah, he's already started sorting out this dent on the front wing as well. I'll get out your way and we'll come back later and see how far you've got. All right, now I'm going to start off trying to DA the rust on this seal here. Now, Chris KEMBER at CLUMPFAB recently welded in this rear arch for me, and basically the reason it's sunk in there is because I put these seals on myself years ago and they are sticking out too far. You know, I'm not a fabricator, and I told Chris not to worry about that. I just want it to be solid, and you know, I'm just going to throw a load of fiberglass filler in there. So I'm going to focus on this bit first and get the converter on there as quick as I can, so that that goes off in time for me to put a massive skim of fiberglass filler in there. So yeah, once I've bare metaled that bit and put the rust converter on that bit, then I'll start going around the rest of the car and grinding away all the other rust scabs. So yeah, I think I'll cue the music and fire up the DA sander. Well, she is a rot box. The further I go, the more rust I find. In this corner there was quite a bit of rust, but luckily Rob had a drill for me to get in there with a wire brush and a drill. Found a hole here, which is a bit annoying. When I put the seals in, basically I came up to here on the rear section. On the front door area, I actually welded it to this pinch seam here. And yeah, back here, I welded it up to here. And yeah, just used loads of filler and fiberglass to make the shape. Realistically, these seals are gonna have to be redone at some point. But yeah, right now I'm gonna throw some fiberglass filler in that hole. Luckily, all around it is quite solid. And yeah, as I said earlier, throw a load of fiberglass filler in here. And while I had the use of Rob's drill, I decided to dig out this bit on the A pillar, which has turned into a slight hole. Ford life, rust, rust and more rust. I'm using this Hammerite Cure Rust this time. This is actually Rob's. It's literally gonna slap it on with a paintbrush. All right, so I need to give that a few hours before I can start putting any fiberglass filler in it. And in the meantime, I'm gonna crack on with all the other scabs around the car. I think I'm gonna spend a bit of time on this arch area. You can see it's going all rusty and stuff because Chris just put a bit of primer on this arch after he welded it. By now, I should have actually covered it in something, but yeah, I think I'm gonna work on this. Down here is gonna need some fiberglass to make the shape anyway, so. Rear panel, it's going to need some fiberglass in it as well. Get some of these scabs on the roof. Alright, I know the shadows on the car are making it hard to see, but pretty much gone round and ground most of the scabs. Decided not to fuss too much with the front wings because they're removable. And yeah, this is still the original primer that they came in. Realistically, these front wings are going to need bare metal in, but you know, because they're removable, I could take them home and do it in my garden or whatever. But I've got rid of the worst scabs on them as well. But yeah, moving around the car, just got loads of patches of bare metal now. Passenger side definitely wasn't as bad as the driver's side, but yeah, plenty of little patches of bare metal to hit with Cure Rust now. And yeah, there's the roof, which you saw me doing in the clip a minute ago. The car is very dusty, and I've ordered the paint for this car and the primer and the thinners and panel wipe, but it hasn't come yet. So I'm just going to use the spray degreaser to clean literally just the patches where the bare metal is, and then throw some Cure Rust on and wait for it to go off. It's too runny, this gear, man. Just wish it was thicker. Alright, so I've now hit all the bare metal bits with that Cure Rust, which is going to take a few hours to go off. There's the bits on the roof. But yeah, now I'm going to throw some fiberglass filler in those bits that I Cure Rusted earlier on. The main bit being this area and the seal, and this area here. And I'm going to throw a load down here on the rear panel as well. Alright, so this seal is now filled out quite well. I've chucked loads in there, tried to do as much of the build as I could with the first skim. Definitely going to need to DA it back and block it, and it might need another skim of fiberglass or maybe just some filler at some point. Over this side, it still is sort of kinking in there, so might end up having a skim of filler in there as well. I might actually skim the whole of the rear arch, I'm not sure yet. As I keep mentioning, I'm not looking to get this car perfect at all, and it'll be painted in matte paint anyway. And then on the rear panel there, just filled it full of fiberglass. Tried to keep some sort of seam there so that when it's sanded down it will look somewhat how it should, but again, not looking for perfection. As you can see on this side, I've actually got a bit of a ding in the rear panel, which I'm not going to worry about. That was actually caused by a cone at one of the drift events called The Rise a couple of years ago. Now I must stress, I wouldn't recommend anyone follow what I'm doing when it comes to painting your car. And I know loads of you guys that watch my videos are into doing proper jobs. But yeah, with Maude, all I want to do is slow the rust down as much as I can. And seeing as she's getting a full repaint, I thought it was about time that I sort of ground back most of the scabs of rust. Now that you've sat through watching loads of ultimate bodging by myself on this car, I thought I'd readdress the balance by showing you what progress Rob has made on my dad's Mark III. Now Rob's had to pop out, we'll be back in a minute, but I thought I'd give you a little look at the progress so far. This passenger side rear arch is pretty much the correct shape now. It looks so good, man. Rob's got some serious skills with a body filler. And this dent on this passenger side front wing is now all sorted and ready for primer, although Rob did notice another dent over here that he's going to sort out before he does primer it. And around this side, he's been tackling the rear quarter where Chris KEMBER done the welding on this side. And yeah, this is all starting to be the right shape now. This didn't need anywhere near as much filler as the other side. Chris done a really good job of welding it and not distorting the panels too much. And there's the other bit there where Chris put a little patch in, which is also starting to take shape. So yeah, really happy with the progress on my dad's Mark III so far. And because I'm off work this week, I should be able to keep documenting each stage of the process. I've just remembered that on this A-pillar, there's a hole there that I need to chuck some fiberglass in, so I'm going to do that now. Put a strip of tape behind. Yeah, that'll do. Tiny little skim on the inside as well. Alright, this fiberglass and this seal is nice and hard now, so I'm going to try and skim it with this DA just to speed things up, but hopefully I don't dig into it too much. Same thing on this lower rear quarter. And on the rear panel as well. Proper job. Don't try this at home. It looks like this cure rust is now gone off, so I think it's time to get a fresh roller out and start hitting it with some red oxide. Alright, so back at my garage and we can get a look at the state of Maude, and she is looking in a right state. But she's definitely got less surface rust on her body shell now. Still loads of work to be done before I can actually paint this car, and you know, apologies to any painters that are watching this. I know it's probably giving you sore eyes watching how much of a bodge this job is, but yeah, at the end of the day, this is just a daily rat look car, and I'm not interested in painting her properly. Still need to do some more shaping on the fiberglass that I've put in today. I just covered it in red oxide just for now. You know, any sort of bare metal areas around there, you know, I've got something on them at least. Probably going to do some sort of filler work on this arch just to make it look a bit better. And yeah, definitely going to need a bit more filler down there, but you know, it is what it is. Ultimately, she's going to be getting a lash up with a roller, and I'm actually excited to see what the new colour is going to look like on her. And you know, as it's going to be another matte colour, it doesn't matter that the car's not going to be perfectly straight. I'm actually coming back round here tomorrow, but I'm sure lots of you will be happy to know that I'm not going to be carrying on with this bodge. I'm actually going to turn my attention back to Esther, my ST170 powered Mark 1 Escort, and I'm going to do the final jobs, hopefully, before I can put her through an MOT. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I do actually have a job that I want to redo on Maude that I did a couple of videos ago, and I was planning to do that today, but yeah, I'm going to leave that for another day. For now, I'm going to end this video here. If you did think it was any good, please do give it a thumbs up and a share. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe to keep up to date with all my future uploads, and check the links in the description to my social media and my website. I'll also leave my email address down there for anyone who wants to contact me. But other than that, until next time, thanks for watching.